Okay.
Yes, sir.
So this is what we left in the last class. So this is a problem we have started in sequencing, and luckily this is a problem of n job and two machine. Only two machine. We have got the n number of job. In this case, we have got 5 number of job. Then we form the sequence. Then we calculated the time in, time out. Then the idle time for machine A and machine B. And the dependencies, we haven't generally considered any dependency because A B is the normal sequencing. But in example 2, also we have got A B, but in this case it will be little different. So in this case we have got 6 jobs and 2 machines. And initially we will be taking out this matrix, this kind of table, then machine A, machine B. Then we'll find the least value of all the cell. In this case, it happens to be machine A J1, which is 2. So we will be putting it sequencing number 1 as J1. And the next iteration is we will be discarding that complete row, I mean column of that particular job J1. Then among the remaining thing, we will find out which has the minimum thing. But if you happen to see that, we have got two minimum here. Like for example, 4, 9, 6, 7, 4, then 7, 4, 3, 3, 11. So there are two threes which are minimum. So in that case, you can arbitrarily choose any minimum. But I recommend you to choose the minimum that corresponds to the what do you call the sequence. Say for example, in this case is order AB. In both the cases, the minimum is 3. Say, for example, job 4 and job 5, it is 3. It is recommended to take job 4 because that is kind of pretty much before the job 5. And another thing is if it is something like a job 4 machine B and job 5 machine A, then you choose machine A because machine A has the highest dependencies. It doesn't have dependency. Machine B only has a dependency. Machine A is kind of a standalone. So it's kind of a prerequisite for machine B. So which means that in that case you choose machine A. But actually there's no difference if you, for example, there is no problem if you choose arbitrarily also. So many people just suggested to take arbitrarily also. So that is also an what do you call used practice, but then this might give you some percentage of accuracy when compared to taking it arbitrarily. Okay. So in this case, I'm taking J4, which is nothing but machine B. Then I discard the complete column. So the remaining out of this is unique 3 now. So because we don't have any other 3s remaining, so this is a unique 3. So no other go. We have to go for J5. But if you have taken J5 initially, then the sequence will vary like J4 and J5. So that is what basically it happens. Or you can even give it a try because I've done J4 and J5. Probably you can give it a try stating that J5 and J4 and you can see whether the solution is the same. The next step is discarding that particular column. Then we will be yielding it J2, J3 and J6. But if you take a look at this, as I told you, this has got three same values or three minimum values, three same minimum values. So in this case is 4. There's a 4 here and there's a 4 there. Okay. So, but I told you to take machine A because that has had the highest dependency. And luckily, in this case, it is job 2 and machine A. So which means that instead of taking job 3 and job 6, it's job 2, then machine A. So probably I've chose this particular 4 rather than these 4. Okay. So I've taken that 4 and probably I've just made up this particular thing. Then I just discard that particular column. And in the next case, I just wanted to do some arbitral minimum value. So in this case, 9, 4, 4, 11. Even though machine A has got 4 in job 6 and machine B have got job 3 and job 4, I recommend you to take job 6 machine A, but let's take arbitrarily. You can even choose. There's nothing wrong in taking arbitrarily. So I've just taken an example of making it an arbitrary. So not all the case. You can choose everything arbitrarily or everything by based on the purpose or the logic or machine A on the top machine and the initial sequence or job sequence. Then in this case, the final thing will be 4. This is nothing but J3 of, I think it's machine B is J3. Okay. So it has to be J3 machine B, something like that. Then this will be the final. That will be J6. Just copy this. J6. So this is an example of then we'll discard the complete stuff. Okay, so this is kind of an sequence. Okay, so you can even choose arbitrarily and go over and choosing this, and this machine A time out and ideal time are all fairly the same. Okay, so I recommend you to do this problem on your own. So find out the ideal times and something like that. One difference between example 1 and example 2 is that in example 1 there is no repetition, there is no values that are repeating, or the values or the least values are not occurring multiple times. So in example 2 we have got number of times the least value occurring. Say for example in 3 it occurs 2 times, then 4 occurs 3 times, and so on. That's it. And this or some, and 7 also occurs, could have occurred 2 times, and 6 also could have occurred 2 times, but since we discard the complete row, this 6 will be unique. Then 1, if you discard this one column, this if you discard individual column, then the if you have 2, that will be gone, and it depends upon the how do you take this sequence. Okay, so next time when you come, just kindly prepare a sequence which is not of this nature, of your own sequence. Only thing is, like for example, in case this one, since machine 4 is available, so I'll just change it to machine 4, and I'm just gonna do this thing to be J4 here. That'll be J4, sorry, J6. Then in the next one, I'll completely discard what do you call, J6. Then I left with only, just copy this. And just left with only what do you call, J3. Okay. So yeah.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
So can you explain how we are selecting the columns in this one? Because in the last problem we were doing it turn-wise, like first machine A in the left, then again machine B, then again machine A.
Not like that. We also did the same procedure. We are taking this minimum value. Say for example, in this case, it is not machine A, machine B. It is the overall matrix, and we find the least one. So in this case, it is a machine A, J2. Okay. This corresponds to machine A and J2. Okay. In the
Okay, sir.
next one, it is not like the problem has made it like that, but it is not machine A, machine B. It is the minimum of these things. Okay. Or
Okay, sir.
if you do it in an Excel, it is just like this: minimum of this was 1, that corresponds to this. Then in this case, it is minimum of the available cells, but it happens to be luckily AB, I guess.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay, fine. So that is why I'm telling you, just understand the logic. Okay, but if it happens to be order BA, then what you do is you swap BA, but then the procedure is fairly the same. Say for example, if I'm taking it BA, the order is BA. Only thing this gets varied. Instead of machine AB, we'll have machine B, then machine A. Only in the final tabular column it will be different. Whereas, for example, if I wanted to do this iteration for machine B, uh, machine A, it's fairly the same. Mm, It's fairly the same because machine A, if the lowest is 2, so the job 1 will be assigned to machine A. Do you understand? Okay. So I think the Excel has gone. Yeah. Now it is active. Yeah. Can you see this Excel? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in this case also, if you see the minimum is 2, so we will be assigning J1 to machine A. So this procedure, the order doesn't matter in the 2 machine problem, but it could matter in a 3 machine problem that we can see right now. Okay. So this is basically the 3 machine and end job. This is kind of a pretty important thing where the order matters. Say for example, in this case, I didn't take A B C. I have taken A C B. Okay, A first, machine A first, then C first, then B first. Okay, so this will become ACB. Then this entire problem I've just made it in this particular table, and this is row 1, row 2, and row 3. So uh, 2 machines and n problem is standard. If you have got 3 machines, 4 machines, 5 machines, or m machines, then n job, then what we do is we generally convert those kind of the special problems into 2 machine and n problems. How do we do it? Is we will make an equivalent machines. Say for example, if I have 4 machines, I will just generally make 2 equivalent machines of the 4 machines. Then I compute using the 2 machines problem, 2 machine n job problem. So I'll explain that. So in this case, we have got n jobs and 3 machine problems. Okay, so in this case, I've got 6 jobs and 3 machines. And the order I wanted is ACB. So what initially I do it, I put A, then C and B. If it is BCA, then I'll put B first, C second, and A third. So something like based on the order. Okay. This order and this input will be given in the question. So you don't have to really worry about. If there is no order mentioned in the question, which means that it is understood that it is ABC, like sequence or a proper sequence or that sequence that makes sense. Okay. There's nothing wrong. You can even try a different sequence and you can, but you have to mention based on the order. Okay. Then conversion of that 3 machine problem into 2 machine problem. So we have got 2 conditions. This is very important. Pay attention. The minimum, what do you call the time on row 1 should be greater than or equal to the maximum time on row 2. So minimum time on row 1 should be greater than and equals to the maximum time of the row 2. Or it is not and, it is or minimum time on row 3 is greater than equals to the maximum time of row 2. So which means that row 1, the minimum time is checked and compared to the maximum time of row 2. And in the next case, row 3, minimum time is checked and that is gets compared with the maximum time of row 2. So whichever is, I mean, it should be greater than or equal to. If it doesn't satisfy this condition, then we cannot convert that into a 2 machine problem. Let's take a look at it. So this is condition 1. So what is the minimum of row 1? The minimum of row 1 is 2. And what is the maximum of row 2? The maximum is 8. So which means that 2 is not greater than equals to 8. So which means this condition has become false. The next one, the minimum of the row 3. So what is the minimum of row 3? It is 8. What is the maximum of row 2? It is 8. So which means that it is satisfied. The row minimum of the minimum of row 3 is 8 and the maximum of row 2 is 8. So this will be the same. Only thing is we will be checking it row 1 and row 3. So in this case we got 8. So 8 is equals to 8. So which means this condition is true. So that we can try converting that 3 machine problem into a 2 machine problem. Okay. Now we will make the equivalent machine. So equivalent machine is that machine 1 plus machine 2, in this case machine A and machine C. So generally what people will make a mistake is they don't make this table. They compute this thing. Since we know this order, we should convert that into order. Then you have to look into the condition. Say for example, if you don't look into the condition, say for example, the minimum of row 1, the minimum of row 1 and the minimum of row 3. let's check it is greater than equals to the maximum of row 2. And this is not satisfied. You see, 2 is not greater than equals to, I just put not equals to 14, greater than equals to 14, and 1 is not greater than equals to 8. So you suddenly don't jump into a conclusion that this machine cannot be, this problem cannot be converted into a 2 machine problem. So that is very important, and you should really understand that. That's why I ask you to convert in terms of the order. Then you just find out the conditions. Okay. Then in this case, it is satisfied. 8 is equals to 8. This is true. Okay. If you, after converting also, if you can't able to find out the, if the conditions are not satisfied, then you cannot convert into a 2 machine problem. Then you have to, you cannot perform this algorithm. So you have to find out the equivalent algorithm to convert 3 machines into, I mean, finding out the sequence for the 3 machines. Okay. And next what we do is we'll convert it in terms of an equivalent machine. So this is also very important if you make note of it. This table is what we generally require. So what happened is the machine one, or you can even take mx, my. Generally people take mx, my, or I just take machine 1 and machine 2. So because since we use the letters for naming the machine, so it will be fine if you give us the equivalent term for the machine 1 and machine 2. So what machine 1 and machine 2 is, machine 1 is nothing but row 1 plus row 2. So in this case, it is row 1 plus row 2. So machine A plus machine C. So do not worry about the order. This is just the first row on the second row. So we are making the equivalent machine. The next case will be equals to R2 plus R3. So the next row, second row plus the third row will be our machine. So this is the constant practice. I'm just giving it. This is the constant practice. Okay, so machine 1, equivalent machine 1 will become, this 3 machines will become R1 plus R2. Then the 2 machines will become R2 plus R3. So this is the procedure or the algorithmic process. And machine 1, M1, it is nothing but A plus B, which is nothing but row 1 and row 2, A and C. This is C plus B. This is, you can even take R prime 1 or R prime 2, since do not confuse with this row and this row. So you can take that. Then C and B, which is nothing but the row 2 and row 3. So which means 3 plus 8 is 11. Then 8 plus 13 is 21. So this is how you get this equivalent. So which means that we have converted successfully the 3 machine problem into a 2 machine problem. Then we will just proceed as such, like we will be finding out the sequence based on how do we find out for machine, I mean 2 machine problems. So let's dive in. So in this case, we have got 6 jobs. So we have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 columns. Then machine A left side and machine B right side. Then among this, we have to find the minimum value. So what is the minimum value here is 8. So this 8 is pretty much unique. So which means that we will just give assign job 4 to machine A. Then we will discard the column. Then we look into the minimum value other than the 8. It is 9. So that will be machine A job 3. I think it's machine A job 3. Then next one, discarding that particular column, it is 11. We have a tie between these two, J1 11 and J5 machine 2 11. So which means that we'll be taking out this thing. You can even arbitrarily take anything, but I've just taken 11 here. So J1 machine A, or in this case it's not machine A, it is machine 1 and 2. So just this is an equivalent machine, so you don't have to really take machine A. So just copy paste it, so with the so that it has become machine B. Okay, so this will become machine A. Machine A becomes machine 1. Machine 1. Okay. So we have here we have assigned it to machine 1 J1. Then we'll discard that particular column. Then remaining out of that, it's pretty much obvious. It's unique. It's 11. So this is J5 machine 2, and discard that particular column. We have got 12, which is J6 machine 1. So J6 machine 1. Then we have, when we discard it, we have got only two options. In this case is J2 machine 1. So J2 machine 1. If you take a look at this, in this problem, we only have a J5 for machine 2, but other things are for machine 1. Okay. This machine and all will be stopped at this point. 1 and 2 equivalent. When we find equivalent, it gets stopped. So the algorithm is so beautiful that can be applied to machine ACB. Why I've taken machine ACB is that our order is ACB. So remember that this is very important for making this table, and also for considering the equivalent, I mean the conditions, the equivalent machines, and also this thing, the final thing, machine A, machine C, and machine B. Okay. So the procedure is fairly the same. I repeat one more time. So probably you can make a note of it. First will be 0. The time information is 0. There won't be any dependency. So it will be start at that point of time. You remember in a CPM, we talked about the initial event having a earliest event as 0. So which means it start at that point of time because it doesn't have any predecessor. The same way for this machine, the initial is 0. And what is this? J4. The first is J4. Just take a look at it. Where is J4? J4 is here, 2. So which means 0 plus 2 is 2. So the machine A will finish the activity by the job 4 by 2. You can even take this to be hours. I didn't mention these units for this, but let's assume that is an hour. So it will finish in 2 hours. Then put that in the time in for the job 3. So job 3, the machine A, the end duration is 5. So which means that it is 2 plus 5 is 7. Then you put down this 7 here. Then job 1, machine A is 3. So 7 plus 3 is 10. Then put down the 10 here. Then job 6 is 11. 10 plus 11 is 21. Put that 21 here. And 21 plus what is this? J2. J2 is 12. So 12 is 33. Put the 33 here. And 33 what is J5? J5 is 9. So which means 33 plus 9 is 42. So this is regarding machine A. And in machine A, we will not have any what you call idle time. It will be, because there's no dependency, it doesn't have to wait for any machine to perform. So since it's an initial machine, it doesn't have any idle time. So that is why we have given all 0, 0, 0 till the end. Okay. I'll tell you what does this lack. So probably you would have, if you would have understood, or if you have seen the previous video, then you probably know what does these things. But I'll explain you what these things are also. That's why I created this in orange color. The next is machine C. Remember, it's not machine B, it's machine C because of the order which we have considered. Then the time out of the initial event, I mean initial job, will be the time in for the machine, because the machine C always depends on machine A. So which means that the time is 2. So out time is 2. So you incorporate that 2 here. Then what is the J4 duration for machine C? So J4 duration for machine C is 6. So which means that 2 plus 6 is 8. Okay. Then we'll look into the condition, because you cannot directly put down this value in this cell like in machine A, because you need to look into this cell. Then you can put in this value. In this case, the machine job 3 of machine A gets over by 7. Then there won't be any problem of putting 8, because the remember the condition, this value should not be lesser than this value. So which means that without finishing machine A, you cannot finish machine C. So that there's a constraint. So which means that this value should be always greater than or equals to this value. Okay. So in this case is luckily 8 and 8. And we can put an 8 here because 8 is greater than 7. Then job 3 of machine C. Job 3 of machine C is 4, which is 8 plus 4 is 12. And check the condition. It's 10 and 12. Yeah, 12 is higher than 10. So you put in 12 here. Then 12 plus J1 of C is 8. 12 plus 8 is 20. But if you take a look at it, this is 21, this is 20. So you cannot put 20 here. You know why? Because if you put 20, this is less than the 21, which means there will be a hindrance, or it will be a discrepancies. So which means that the machine 2, even though machine C, even though if it finishes by 20 hour, you should wait for the 1 hour, the difference of this amount should be weighted so that you can start machine C. In this case, it is 21. So directly put 21 here. And when you put 21, the difference of this 20 and 21 will be your ideal time. So in this case, it is 1 hour. So 1 hour, the machine should wait till the machine A gets, machine C should wait till the machine A gets over. Then 21, what is J6 of machine C is 1. So which means 21 plus 2 is 22. But if you take a look at it, this is 33. Machine A finishes job 2 by 33. To start job 2 by machine 3, machine C, you have to wait 33 this particular day. It's kind of a quite a longer hour. So even though it finishes by 22, machine 3 gets wait still 33. So the difference of that will be 11. So the idle time for machine C is 11. Then this is J2. J2 of machine C is 6. 33 plus 6 is 39. Then if you take a look at it, it is 42. Then it should wait 42. Then 42 minus 39 is 3. So that will be the idle time. So the idle time of the machine C is calculated. Similarly, the out time of machine C will be in time of machine B. So this is what very important. The out time of machine A will be in time of machine C. The out time of machine C will be in time of machine B. Then what is the J4 for machine B? The J4 for machine B is 12. So 8 plus 12 is 20. And here it is. And you should look only the previous thing, not the A dependency. So if you have a multiple machines, then you should look into the previous machines for the dependency rather than the initial thing. In this case, it's luckily the first and the initial. So we looked into the dependency of this and we incorporated. In this case, it should be this value. So 20 is greater than 12. So no problem. You can directly put in 20. So what is J3? J3 is J3 of B is 9. So 9 plus 20 is 29. And if you see here is 20, you can directly put 29. Similarly, you calculate that. In this case is 22. This case is 42. So you can put directly 42. In this case is 39. In this case is 55. Yeah, you can put it 55. And in this case is 45. We got it 69. And elapsed time is 77. The final value, say for example, in this case is 69 plus J5 of machine B. J5 is 8. So 45, 69 plus 8 is 77. So which means that this is the elapsed time. This is the overall time of all the three machines. So this has much significance. Then the idle time of machine A, this is called finishing idle time. So which means that even though the process gets over by 77th hour, machine A gets over by 42, machine B gets over by 45. So which means the difference of that 77 minus 42 will be the idle time of machine A. So this 35 is the result of 77 minus 42. And this is 32, which is 77 minus 45. That will be machine C. And 77 minus 77, the same value is 0. So which means that for B, there is no end idle time. But in this case, we have got the starting idle time. So the total idle time of machine A will be the sum of all these columns is 35. And machine C is 49. And machine B is 8. So this is typically the three machine problems and the order ACB. Okay. So I've also created the example, the same problem. I don't think it's the same problem. Yeah, it is a different problem. And the order I've given is CAB. And you see, I've just made it this. I've uploaded this Excel file in Microsoft Teams, so you can probably take a look at that in much detail. So you can solve this problem whenever you're free. So example 2, example 4, and example 6 is the homework kind of thing for you. So example 5, I'll just let you know. So example 5 is the third model, which is the N machine and M job. So sorry, M machine and N job. So we have got N number of jobs and M machine. In the first example, we talked about only 2 machines, N job. So 2 machines and N job. And in example 3, we have got 3 machines and N job. So 3 machines gets converted into 2 machine problem. And in example 5, we have got N numbers of job and M numbers of machines. So machines are higher and jobs also higher. So it means that how do we go about to do this? The procedure is fairly the same. So what we do is we will convert the entire machines into two machine problem, and we look into the conditions first, then the order first, then we will just try to do it. Okay. So at this point, do you have any questions so that I can answer?
No, sir.
Okay. So this also fairly the same. So in this case, I have not taken any order, so I've just made order of A, B, C, D, E, F. So this is kind of an 6 machine and 4 jobs. Okay. So I've just made without, it's not ordering. So the same thing, I've made a table with row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4, row 5, and row 6. And you have to understand this. The row 1 is 1, row 2 is 2, 3, 4, and the final row is M. M is equals to 6 here. The row is 6, so M is equal to 6. Then M minus 1 is 5, then M minus 2 is 4, and this is the initial one. This is the final one. So this has some significance. I'll tell you why it is that significance, why I've written for this, but not for this, is that since it has got m numbers of machines, so m numbers, m stands for here is 6 rows or 6 machines, and the conversion is fairly the same. In the previous case, we talked about the row 1 and minimum of row 1 and maximum of row 2. Then in this next condition, it's minimum of row 3 and maximum of row 2. So in this case, we have got n numbers of row or m numbers of rows. So how do we go about to do this? So minimum time on machine 1, which is nothing but here machine 1 or machine 1, the first row, or you can even write row 1. Can even, if you want, if you are very much in the row notation, so you can write row 1 should be greater than or equals to, it is not m, the remaining thing. So this compared, this is a minimum of this compared with not the entire m. So pay attention, generally people make a mistake. It is m minus 1. So it is not minimum but compared to the maximum of these. It is minimum compared to the maximum of m minus 1. M minus 1 is nothing but leave the last row, the remaining the row. Leave the first row and remaining the leave the first row and last row and remaining rows. So in this case, understand at m minus 1. So 2 to m minus 1. So in this case, m minus 1 is 5. So out of that, you should find the minimum. Then the next condition is minimum of m compared to the m minus maximum of m minus 1. Do you understand? So it's not first row. First row gets compared with the maximum of the 2 to m minus 1. The last row the minimum of the last row gets compared with the what do you call maximum of 2 to m minus 1 rows. So this is the basic logic behind it. It's fairly the same. So in the three machine problem, we gets compared one with the machine 2. Then in this case, then the case the last gets compared with the machine 2. In this case, you compare this to be kind of a row 1, and this to be row 3, and this to be the middle value. So which means that you can probably can take a look at it, this being the first machine, this will be the machine 3, and this will be machine 2. So this is kind of a machine 3 problem. And in this case, instead of machine 3 being a single, machine 2 will become a single. We have got and I mean 2, 3, 4, 4 numbers of machines. Okay, so that is what I wanted to tell you. Okay, so that is what. So minimum of machine 1. So I think it is machine A is machine 1, and minimum of that is 13. So just put 13 here, and the maximum of this particular thing is 12. I guess this is 12. E machine J1 is 12, so that will be 12. So in this case, 13 is greater than equals to 12 exactly, so which means it is true. And the next condition is the last row. The minimum of that last row is 14, and the maximum of this particular thing is something around yeah, the same 12. So which means 14 is greater than equals to 12, and this condition also true. So in this case, luckily the conditions are fairly the same. So this is kind of a very important thing. And similarly, we will be calculating the equivalent thing. So M1 and M2. So I'll keep the notation to be the same. Since the condition satisfy, we can convert this M machine problem into two machine problem. So M1 and M2. So in this case, it is nothing but M1 is nothing but the row 1 plus the row 2 plus the row 3 till till it is row I can put it M minus 1. So it is not M. Remember that generally people will make a mistake. It is only machine A to machine E. Machine A to machine E. Okay, so this consists of that. Then the next one, machine 2 is starts with row 2. Row 2. Then in this case, I can put in this case, I can even write R4 because R1, R2, R3, R4 and R5. R5 is nothing but M minus 1. In this case is R2, R3, R4, R5 plus R6, which is nothing but this R6 is M. So this M minus 1 and this is M. So that is why I've given here A, B, C, D, E, F, E, and this is B, C, D, E, F. So this is an important thing that you can take a look at it. So which means we have converted m numbers of machines into just two machine problem, and the job here is just 4. So which means that we can make a sequencing, and finally the sequence will be J3, J1, J2 and J4. So which means that we have got J3, J1, J2 and J4, and the procedure is fairly the same. The order is A, B, C, D, and we have got the same procedure. The initial is 0, then out time of this will be in time, then out time of this will be in time, then out time of this will be in time, then out time of this will be in time for this, and out time of E will be in time for F machine, and the procedure is fairly same. In case if it is 52, this case is 43, then you have to wait till 52. The procedure are fairly same, then you have to calculate the idle time. This is the overall elapsed time, and you have to calculate the ideal time for A, B, C, D, E, F, and find out the idle time. So this is pretty much an M machine, and oops, just a minute, the Excel got closed. So that is pretty much the M machine, and pretty much an M machine and N job. So this is pretty much an example. And this thing I've given you as an homework or assignment or something, not assignment, a homework, so that probably you can. I hope you're doing the assignment number 1. So today I'll just post some YouTube tutorials for the assignment number 1, and in today I'll also give you assignment number 2. So that assignment number 2 is fairly the simple assignment. So which is the linear programming problem. I'll give you 2 problems, so you can probably solve that. I'll give you a word problem instead of giving you the z function and the constraints. I'll give you a word problem. First, you can formulate it. I think you can probably finish that by 11th or 12th. So I'll put 12th as the deadline for the assignment number 2. I'll upload that assignment number 2 today. Okay. So this is the problem. You can take it as a homework, and you can try solving it using that method. And the next one. So far we have done 2 machines, N jobs, and 3 machines, N job, 3 machines and N job, then M machines and N job. And in this case, I've got 2 jobs and M machines. So we're just, if you take a look at it, this is, if I delete these 2 jobs, then this will be 2 jobs and M machine. But there is an additional thing, which is that 2 jobs are in a different sequence. So in all the cases, if we talk about all the cases, the sequence are fairly the same. So which means that the order is fairly the same. The job 1 is done in machine A, which is job 2 does in machine A, and then it progresses. In this case, we have got job 1 on machine A and job 2 in machine B, and job 1 of machine B is this, and job 2 of machine C is this thing. So this kind of an different sequence, A, B, C, D, E, and this is B, C, A, D, E, something like that. Okay. So this cannot be generally solved by the algebraic method. So instead, and it looks very complicated, but this is the easiest of all those methods. So it doesn't consumes a lot of time when compared to the other problems. Okay, so what pay attention to it. So it will be little kind of different when compared to the other problems. Okay, so I'll just put, okay, so first what you do is, given a problem, you sum the total what do you call total jobs, total duration of the job of this particular nature, and you also do sum of these job 2. So this will be our what do you call processed time. So this you can take down as processed time, and this is same process time. Okay, this is process time of J1, and this is process time of I just P2 PT J2 for time for the space constraint, and this will be job 1. Okay, processed time of J1 and J2 is given. Next, we have to find this particular graph. So this is kind of a little interesting, but also it's kind of a little intimidating. If you don't follow, it'll be very difficult. So understand this. So I've got an x-axis is job 1. It's actually I've cropped down to something. It is job 1 is x-axis and job 2 is y-axis. And job 1, how do we get 21 is we have got the process time to be 21. Okay. Supposing for job 2 it is 20, then the y-axis is just only 20, not 21. So in this case, luckily both are the same. There could be some problems where the job 1 and job 2 are a little different also. So you have to pay much attention to that. Okay. And I'll give you a problem at the end with a different processed time for job A and job B. Okay. Okay, so now what you do is you do 0 to 21 of x and 0 to 21 of y. Okay, then what you do is what is the machine A duration? It is 4 hours. So which means that we'll be putting 0 to 1 is 1, 1 to 2 is 2, 2 to 3 is 3, 3 to 4 is 4. So which means that you draw a vertical line. For job 1, we'll be looking at the vertical lines. In job 2, we'll be looking at the horizontal line. So as of now, understand, we'll be first creating the vertical line. This represents this 0 to 4 is job A. And job, not job A, sorry, machine A. Job 1, machine A. And the x-axis I told you is job 1. And the machine B is 6. So you don't have to draw a line at 6, but instead this is 4 to 5 is 1, 5 to 6 is 2, 6 to 7 is 3, and 7 to what do you call 7 to 8 is 4, and 8 to 9 is 5, and 9 to 10 is 6. So which means that the 6 signifies machine B job 1. So draw a line at 10, which means that the 6 hours of that will be here. The next is job 1 machine 3. So 3 hours. So 10 to 1 is 1, 10 to 11 is 1, 11 to 12 is 2, 12 to 13 is 3. So which means that in the 13 you draw a vertical line. Then machine D. Machine D is 6 hours. So 13 to 14 is 1, 14 to 15 is 2, 15 to 16 is 3, 16 to 17 is 4, 17 to 18 is 5, 18 to 19 is 6. So draw a vertical line that processes. Generally, the last one will be the last line. So, or you can even check that too. So 19 to 20 is 1, 20 to 21 is 2. So draw a vertical line. So which means that this vertical lines. Okay. This is A, B, C, D, E. Since the order is not changed, so which means that A, B, C, D, E. But for job B, the order is different. It is not A, B, C, D, E, but instead the first job is B. This is job B, 5 duration. So which means that 0 to 1 is 1, 1 to 2 is 2, 2 to 3 is 3, 3 to 4 is 4, 4 to 5 is 5. So this is 5. This signifies not A but B. So draw a horizontal line that surpasses the that intersects the vertical lines. Okay, till the end. Then job 2 machine C, which is 4 hours. So 5 to 6 is 1, 6 to 7 is 2, 7 to 8 is 3, 8 to 9 is 4. So which means that you draw a line at 9. So this is machine C. This is B, this is C. Next is machine A, job 2, which is 4. 9 to 10 is 4, 10 to 11 is, 9 to 10 is 1, 10 to 11 is 2, 11 to 12 is 3, 12 to 13 is 4, the entire is 4. The 4-hour duration, draw a horizontal line that intersects the 13 at 13 with the vertical lines. Next is D is 2, 13 to 14 is 1, 14 to 15 is 2. So draw a horizontal line, that is machine D. And last is machine E, which is nothing but 15 to 16 is 1, 16 to 17 is 2, 17 to 18 is 3, 18 to 19 is 4, 19 to 20 is 5, 20 to 21 is 6. So draw a line, which means the last line will be the 6. So one check you can make a note of it is like if you make a graph of 21, 21, in this case the sum of all the job 1 and job 2, the final machine should have a line both horizontal and vertical at the edge. So in this case 21, it should have 21. If it is somewhere other than the edge, then you have made a computational error. So you have to rectify that. Okay, so up to this is fine. And next is this very important step. So this is, I didn't mention ABCD here. So which means that I just move a bit. And this is A. And this is B, and this is C, and this is D, and the remaining is E. Okay, so you can probably could take a look at these cells. I think I can expand. If I expand, it gets moved away. Yeah, here it is. We could able to put that here so successfully, and this, yes, correct. Oh my god. Okay, so this thing I'll just move it. This, oh, cell. Okay. Uh, I'll try to put this things. This is probably this is machine. I'll just put machine B, and this is machine C. Machine C, and this portion is machine A. Machine A, and this small tiny portion is machine D. And the remaining is machine E. There is a significance why I make this. Then I've got the machines. Okay, so all of you could able to understand this. I can decrease. Oh, Okay, so what we do is we try to match A and A. So in this case, A is here and the cell A is here. So I think it has got, so this is A. So which means that this 13 to 9, no, this particular cell you highlighted. You don't have to thicken it, or you can even draw inclined lines. So hatch lines, if you remember, like technically, you can put a hatch line. Then for B and B, here it is B, so you put a hatch line here. For C and C, put a hash line here. And you can D and D, you put a hash line here. And for E and E, put a hash line here. So which means that you make a block, and you can name it as A, B, C, D, E, something like that. Okay. So up to this is any problem. So you could able to understand this graphical procedure, because the next is the most complex thing. So to explain that, I hope all of you could able to understand this particular scenario of how do we make this graph. I'll try to
Yes,
put,
sir.
okay then. So the next is very important. Next, we'll be drawing a 45-degree line at the origin. So 0 is the origin. So we'll be making a 45-degree uh, line from the origin. So we will make a 45-degree line such a way that it should not intersect the block. It can intersect the other areas in the graph, but it should not intersect the graph. So I make a 45-degree line. So tan 45 is 1. So which means that the slope is 1. So 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, but it intersects at 4, 4. There is a block which is B. It is intersects at 4. Okay. If you encounter a block, then you can either move horizontally or vertically. In this case, I cannot move horizontally, so I can move only vertically. But if you take at the last one, so I encounter a block, but I can move horizontally. So in this case, I cannot move horizontally. It should not intersect the block. In this case, if you see in this block, D block, it intersects, but it cannot go horizontally, but it can go vertical. So it goes vertically, and at the edge, which is nothing but a 4, 5, and take a 45-degree line and just traverse it till the final stage. Okay. So what basically we are doing it, we are taking it 45-degree line from the origin, and we try to intersect at the point, both point of intersection. Okay. The 21, 21 is the what do you call, the performance time of both the job 1 and job 2, or the overall elapsed time. So that is what we are trying to achieve using this line. But when we do so, we encounter this block. So we move up. So we move up such a way that at the edge, which is nothing but 4, 5, we take another 45-degree line. It doesn't intersect this block. It just intersects this particular block. Then we'll take what do you call it? It intersects at 13, 14. Then we move up the edge of that block, which is nothing but 13, 15, and we try to do till this block. And one important thing I'm wanted to tell you is many students will make a mistake here. They'll stop at this point itself. That is not perfectly correct. So you have to, if it is a block here and if you have a vertical space, you have to try, or if it is a block and you have a vertical space, you have to try moving the block that, then make the horizontal. Or in this case, luckily, this is the last line, so you can make the horizontal line. Okay. And here we can go 45-degree line. You can also take this line, and that will be more cumbersome. So this 45-degree line will solve the purpose. And this particular thing, you end up in 21, 21. And we have got this particular line. So what is the significance of this line is the number of the distance, or the space occupied by the vertical lines will be the idle time for job 1. Okay. The space occupied by the horizontal will be the idle time for job 2. So don't worry about the inclined lines. Inclined lines are the filler lines. So we'll be very much focused only on the vertical line and horizontal line. Remember that in a, I can even write it here. Job 1 is vertical line and job 2 is horizontal line. So remember that. In this case, first job. Okay. In this case, count down number of vertical lines. The number of vertical lines is 1. Perfectly vertical. It is not inclined lines. It is perfectly vertical. So in this case, I've got 1 and 2. So what is the duration of that? Here it is 4 to 5. This vertical line is 4 to 5, which is 1 hour duration. Then 14 to 15. Then 2 hour duration, which means that our elapsed time, or for the job 1, the ideal, it is number of vertical lines, and which is 2, and the duration of that is 1, so which is 2 into 1 is 2. Okay. Now horizontal line is for the job 2. How many horizontal lines here? Is only 1. But what is the duration of that? Because horizontal line starts at 19, ends at 21. So which means that 21 minus 19 is 2. So which means that 2 hours. So same way, 2 hours is for job 2. This is number of vertical lines multiplied by the distance. I mean the durations. Okay, so that is something like 2. So the final elapsed time will be performance time of job 1, which is 21, plus the ideal time. And similarly, job 2, the performance time is 21, the ideal time is 2. In this case, luckily we've got both has the same performance time and ideal time. And generally the final check for this problem is that you should get both elapsed time to be the same. So I repeat, the both elapsed time should be the same. For example, if the elapsed time is 15 for one, I mean the performance time is 15 for one thing, and if it is 5, the lab what do you call the lag time or the idle time for the job, say for example this is job 1 and job 2. In this case, the performance time is 15, and performance time of 15 is J2, 17 is J2, so which means that x-axis will be 15 and y-axis will be 17 in this case. And the idle time for J1 is 5. Can you guess what is idle time of J2? Can you guess what is idle time for J2?
So 3.
Yeah, 3. Very good. So which means that you will get both 20 and 20. So this is a final check. If you don't get this 20 and 20, then there is a computational error. So this is very important in terms of a graphical method of 2 jobs, M machines. Okay. So you can make this arbitrarily without graph sheet also, but make sure that you take this in a scale. This things in a draw grid lines in a scale, and you can try drawing this. And I've just made it thick lines of these things. It is not necessary. If you could able to draw blocks perfectly, then you can erase this lines also is fine. But you can make use of this line is also fine. There's no problem. Absolutely no problem. And in exam, probably if this problem comes, you may be given a graph sheet. But in case what do you call for the midterm exams or proctored exams, graph sheets are, could you get graph sheets, or it'll be nice if you could do it in the regular paper itself. But this 45-degree lines, you need help of the protractor. If you have a protractor, then this 45-degree lines is pretty much easy. Otherwise, you have to compute the tan theta for all this tan 45-degree for all these lines, and you have to draw. So either ways is fine. Okay. So I I'll give you a problem so you can practice this. It is something like the same kind of problem. I'll just put it at example 8 so you can put up this. This is job or mission. Okay, so mission A is 1, 2, C is 3, 5, 1, and this is 3, 4, 2, 1, 5, and in this case is mission C. In this case is mission A. Can you take down this problem? So solve it using a graphical method. So that will be of more A, B, C, D. Yeah, correct. E. Okay, so this will be kind of a homework. So, and let's take a look at the some of the things like in this case, if you see this is 12 and this is 15. So x-axis is 12. And y positive x and positive y. Okay, so y-axis is 15. So this is kind of a graph you will get. Okay, change color. So this is 12, and this is not only the x and y axis. This is your what do you call the performance time for machine A and machine B. So say for example, if you get a lead time of 2, can you guess what is the lead time or the ideal time for this? Sorry, this is if you get a lead, I mean the ideal time of 5. Can you guess what is the ideal time of this? Ideal time of job 2 will be 2. So which means
2.
yeah, 12 plus 5 is 17. Sorry, 12 plus 5 is 17 and 15 plus 2 is 17. So that's what, like that's I'm giving you an rough idea. So calculate it based on the graphical procedure. Okay, so this particular slide is uploaded in the Microsoft Teams, so you can make use of it. Okay. Okay then. So next we'll go to very important thing.